times. As you can see, today I'm standing in my position as the Chief Whip of the Senate of the Republic of Kenya, and I want to thank the former Chief Whip, Boni Halwale, for being so gracious and accepting and walking away and sitting in an undisclosed location. Mr. Speaker, as I support this motion, allow me to begin by condemning the utterances by one governor of Nyeri, Mutahi Kahiga, when he insulted my community, when he called my community people who walk without underwears. Mr. Speaker, that is completely uncouth and uncalled for. And Governor Kahiga must understand that we are here as one nation, and that type of divisive politics is uncalled for, and it should not be allowed in this country. You cannot go and demean another community. You should allow a community to be able to be fully represented, and you cannot go out there and shame a community. Shame on you, Governor what was his name? Anaitwa nani? Kahiga, Governor Kahiga. I mean, seriously. When will we as leaders have a sense of occasion? They're in a burial. People are crying. They are bereaved. And then you go there, you start your politics. Why don't you go and use the money from the county government that you're used to using to go and call for a rally to be able to go and insult other people? It's about time that we learn the sense of occasion. So shame on you, Governor Kahiga, and the Maasai community will not stand. And as I represent that community, I will not stand and see you shaming my community. You know, if it was in those eras, we'll deal with you. But now, we just want to call you for your utterances, which do not have a position in this republic. Mr. Speaker, really, as leaders, we must respect other communities. You know, it is completely unethical, uncouth, and uncivilized for Governor from Nyeri, Kahiga, to be able to use a funeral to look down on another community. This is not back then when they are first-class and second-class citizens. This is when all of us are equal, and we'll point out that we are really equal. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I support the distinguished members of this Senate who have been proposed to serve in the House Business Committee. I serve in that committee, and I know the amount of work that that committee have to deal with. That is the committee that decides really the kind of business that we deal with. And I want to just to correct the view that the previous committee did not do its work. The previous committee really worked well, worked very hard. And in fact, the Secretariat did a fantastic job during our retreat to be able to put facts on the table, to say these are the businesses that were guided by the House business. This is what we concluded. I think what we need to now deliberate on is how do we ensure that any business that leaves the upper house of the Senate and goes down to the lower house in the National Assembly, that business is concluded. That is the task now. We believe that Senator Crystal Asige, Senator Faki, Senator Asigi, Senator Roba, distinguished gentlemen, and all the other distinguished senators who have been given an opportunity to serve in the House business will be able to crack to ensure that we conclude our task. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, I thank you, and I just repeat by saying, shame on you, Governor, I don't know his name, Kahiga.
Have raised even in the running of this House. On many occasions, even issues of comfortability. I'm happy you have changed even cameras in the House, which moves the quality of transmission has improved. I can see there is many renovations and construction in the House. New books have been bought. I know the Commission might want to spend money before the close of financial year, but let us prioritize what is. But I wish these renovations that are doing around Parliament, including funny booths, we should have diverted that money for us to do county visits and do oversight. I saw Majority Leader alone trying to oversight Kericho County Referral Hospital. I wish it was the Senate Committee of Health, alongside him, Senator Mandoga and the team, and Senator Cheruiyot, the area senator, oversighting. We should divert the money. Even this Senate Mashinani, Senate Majority Leader, we can decide that in a quarterly session, we divide Senate into like 10, then visit at least every county using the resources, Madam Speaker, so that we have more impact, so that people see that we are following. Because the question, Madam Speaker, I was in Meru, I was in Mandera, I was in Nandi, I was in Muranga, and the question people are asking us, yes, you send money to Mashinani, but why don't you follow up and see if it is working? And I think that's the question all of us, the senators here, are. Even the senator of Wajir, the members would really want the public that are there, even Senator Kisumu, my neighbor. Madam Speaker, I think we need to be creative and innovative. Let us do away with Senate Mashinani. Let us break away in 10 groups. Allow this weekend, 2 committees can go to some regions so that we can divide. And I hope the Majority Leader will take it up with the House leadership and the House Business Committee, Senate. But all in belief, now the final one, Madam Speaker, I want to appeal to the Senate Business Committee, so that I only have 2 issues. I want to appeal to the Senate Business Committee to also be alive to what is happening. You know, if we have a problem in the country, the way we had State of the Nation, as the Senate Business Committee where you sit, be alive. If a matter happens in the morning and you are sitting in the midday, and the member wants to bring it out in the afternoon, Madam Speaker, our standing orders have gathered for it. We don't need to be morticians. Sometimes we need to be proactive, Madam Speaker. We take action even before we don't need, and I think the Senate Business Committee has risen up to the occasion on several occasions. On our bills, motions, statements, Madam Speaker, I don't know what we will do. My only appeal, I don't know how we'll improve processing of statements, motions, petitions. And it has become a problem. Even the Public Investment Committee and County Public Accounts, we have so many reports. Members always come to our committees and ask us, what are you doing about particular recommendations that you made? I want to appeal that, Madam Speaker, we need to sit as a House and see how we can process statements, petitions, and motions and become creative. I'm happy, Madam Speaker, and I want, through Senate Business Committee and House leadership, to appeal to the chairs of the committees and committees. Please don't discuss a member's motion, statement, or bill without their involvement. It is collegiality that you are reading today, Madam Speaker. Why would you discuss my motion and bill like my bill? I received the feedback from your committee in social media when I was taking chai and mandazi, Madam Speaker, and Madondo somewhere in Kilimani, Madam Speaker. So please, it is important for collegiality and respect. Let us engage the members who brought that matter before the House. Finally, Madam Speaker, on the issue that is life, Madam Speaker, I want to appeal. You know, Madam Speaker, I saw our friends who are doing content creators. I know they came with all this drama and machismo for content creation for TikTok and to trend in Twitter and Facebook. Madam Speaker, if you read, you know, Madam Speaker, you know, the people are saying we are senior lawyers, they are senior, but also fools get old. Madam Speaker, the reading of the ruling of the court, because I've read, is directed to National Assembly. To infringe that the Senate is involved is a wrong premise. Because the Constitution divided the roles of the houses, National Assembly and the Senate, Madam Speaker. Even when you read the ruling, it says the National, and involves the Speaker of the National Assembly, Senator Speaker Moses Wetangula. If it is a party leader and is the Speaker, it is the business of the National Assembly. We don't have. And the courts did not say we can invite ourselves to the table on determining the court order. Madam Speaker, let us be honest when we engage in terms of reading the law. When you look under Article 262, the Constitution envisages a purposeful interpretation of the law involving court orders, Madam Speaker. So these things that our brothers from the minority side are busy sitting on the seats, the goodness with the Senate is there is free sitting. It will not just make news today. Content creation, I've seen some of them, I've already posted, Madam Speaker. Somebody who just walked out, I saw Shaweka, TikTok, and other places. The point I'm trying to make, let us be honest with us. In fact, as we talk, and Majority Leader will support me on this, UDM did a post-coalition agreement as per Political Parties Act. Under Political Parties and Election Act, the law of Kenya allows for both pre- and post-coalition agreements. UDA signed with UDM. In fact, Azimio is no longer there. DAP walked away with only one MP, some content creator called Kasalasia. There is some funny governor who is busy insulting anybody and everybody that moves, just like our Chinese eat everything that moves. Madam Speaker, when you talk about NAC doesn't even have a single MCA. Does he have Nyumba Kumi? Something like that. So they have worked out of Azimio. Who else has remained in Azimio? Wiper, that the deputy minority, in fact, he should be removed from his seat. Because Wiper is no longer part of Azimio, Madam Speaker. So we must be honest. If we want to interpret this constitution, we must interpret this constitution for the betterment of this country. Let us not interpret constitution for us to become politically convenient or relevant or to be celebrated, Madam Speaker. Let us allow the constitution to speak and be heard. That court order that was directed. And Madam Speaker, one funny thing these people are not telling you, the colleague senator, sorry, they are not telling you that the courts did not determine who is the minority and majority. As things stands now, the minority, which is ODM and others, they are the minority. Because Azimio has disintegrated. In fact, the UDA is becoming majority because of the broad-based engagement with other political actors, Madam Speaker. So I want to appeal, Madam Speaker, since the court order did not direct, the senator cannot be there. The Senate, as the former chairman of JLAC Emeritus, Madam Speaker, there is no court order against a minority or majority side on the Senate, number one. Number two, even if today the court order that came out has been overturned by revenge, I want to challenge Justice Martha Koome and the judiciary to also be proactive. They don't need to be morticians. They decide something that is long dead and gone. The DNA cannot be found and determined, Madam Speaker. So I want to ask our members in the National Assembly and the Senate, we are properly constituted and we are the majority side, Madam Speaker. Let us allow this week. You remember, Madam Speaker, in conclusion, when we were electing the Speaker, the minority side walked out. We did elect the Speaker. What happened? They came back. So let's allow them, majority leader, 1 or 2 weeks. Let's allow them to sit on seats, do content creation, post. When the heat is down, when the chips are down, they'll come back to their senses and ensure, Madam Speaker. So I want to appeal to the nation. There is nothing to worry from us legal scholars. That court order is only good for academic discourse, for morning television interviews and evening, among others, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, finally, is to appeal to the House. I don't know, my chair of CPAC and the Senate Minority Leader is here. Please, as per the ruling of the court, that most of the county public accounts reports and CPIC should be considered by March. I want to appeal that we need to move faster so that we can ensure we don't offend the timeline that has been set by the law. Madam Speaker, with those very many remarks, allow me to leave it there and to thank you and to say that I support the formation of Senate Business Committee so that from tomorrow we can have a business. And it's good to see Senator Mandago. Congratulations. You are now a serious man in our community. You can sit when a girl is being betrothed because at least your son went through rite of passage. I know people like Aaron still have a long way to go. Our condolences to the Speaker, Madam Speaker. Also condolences to Senator Kinyua for losing his beloved dad. We pray and stand with. Some of us could not come, Madam Speaker, because of what you saw. If you saw people are saying people are working without underwears, we could not sit in such a forum, Madam Speaker. So when funerals are funerals, let's allow them to be. When politics, let's go to rallies. Madam Speaker, with those many remarks, I support.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to strongly support this motion, but I wish to seek... Sorry, Mr. Speaker, let me swallow my words. I rise to strongly second this motion. And Mr. Speaker, before I give reasons why I'm seconding, I'm seeking for your protection. Mr. Speaker, I have been thrown out of my position where I normally sit. Mr. Speaker, you can see my kid sister, much as she likes me very much. She's seated on my seat. I don't know where I'm supposed to sit. I am the chief whip of the government. My seat is supposed to be there. What are you doing? Can you please protect me? I want my seat back. When I'm not there, I don't think very well, Mr. Speaker.
And I second the motion. I will protect you.
So, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, looking at the composition of the distinguished senators who have found their way,
Get this point of order from Senator Okongo Mugeni.
You know, Mr. Speaker, this is the Senate of the Republic of Kenya. And you cannot shut your eyes to what is happening this afternoon. Mr. Speaker, as I contribute, the person who is supposed to be minority has moved to the other side, majority side. My minority leader, his deputy is already on the other side. Mr. Speaker, you know, we are all leaders in this country. We are all leaders in this country. And we cannot proceed with the business of the House with confusion, Mr. Speaker. We are a country, Mr. Speaker, we are a country that is governed by the rule of law. States that have fallen, Mr. Speaker, have started by ignoring court orders or the rule of law. Mr. Speaker, before we proceed, we need clarification. I need clarification, Mr. Speaker, on the implication of the High Court judgment that has clarified the composition of leadership in the two houses, Mr. Speaker, so that before we debate the motion that has been moved by my friend, Majority Leader.
Okongo Mugeni, I've earned you.
No.
I've earned you a clarification what you want. So can I give you the clarification?
The point I'm making, Mr. Speaker, is that the implication of that judgment impacts on the position of majority and minority in this House, Mr. Speaker. And we are going to send a statement out there whether we are a country that wants to abide by the rule of law, respect court orders, or we want to slow
So which
degenerate.
court order are you referring to, touching on the Senate?
It's common knowledge.
We are not aware.
I can table
The chair
it.
is not aware of any court order
Mr.
concerning the
Speaker,
Senate.
are you the only stranger in Jerusalem, Mr.
Can
Speaker?
you have your seat now?
This is common knowledge, Mr. Speaker.
Can you have your seat, Senator Mugeni?
The court order is known to everybody. That's why, Mr. Speaker, that's why this afternoon, Mr. Speaker, you can see
Can you have your seat now?
the minority have become the majority, Mr. Speaker. The person sitting next to me here, Mr. Speaker.
When I request the senator to
Mr. Speaker,
sit down kindly,
I can
yes,
table that
it is
decision
necessary.
before the House. I can table the decision before the House, Mr. Speaker. No, it's online. I just need to send it. I have it. I have the decision here. I'm digital, Mr. Speaker. I can table the decision.
So, Senator Mugeni, I think you are, let us not waste precious time. This is our first day here, and we didn't need to do some work. Let me give you guidance on what you requested. Senator Mugeni, I want to give you guidance that there is no court ruling or anything touching on the Senate. Absolutely touching on the Senate, nothing. You are senior legal counsel, and I don't know where this ruling came from. Yeah? So, Senator Boni Karwale, proceed and...
yes, Mr. Speaker, allow me to thank you for that guidance. This House has gained a lot of respect in the country. And therefore, the guidance you're giving, Mr. Speaker, I invite you to be even bolder and ask our colleagues who have migrated to the majority side to go back and take their seats. Because the proper position, Mr. Speaker...
Senator Boni Karwale, if you go even to the standing orders, if you consult the standing orders, senators have free sitting. You can sit here anywhere. There's free sitting.
Thank you, Speaker.
The
Mr. Speaker, indeed.
is on my chair, and I'm not bothered. You can spend even the whole month. I have no problem. I can sit any side.
Mr. Speaker, indeed you are right. As
So
I have said,
proceed and second this motion.
yes, I'm seconding Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, be patient with me. We came here to guide the country when, leader of the majority, we came here to guide the country when opinion divides the country. So just allow me in 2 minutes to make my point, and then I conclude my seconding. And the point is, since you have correctly interpreted what took place in court, that there were no orders against the composition of the leadership of the Senate, and given that there are designated seats in this House, like the Speaker's chair where you are seated, it is a seat in this House. Just because the standing orders say a senator can sit anywhere, doesn't invite senators to go and sit where the Speaker is seated. So because these seats are designated, let members sit wherever they want. But we as leadership, we sit where we are supposed to sit. We cannot be in a country run by social media, Mr. Speaker. I am very serious. If the courts, let me confirm, if the courts had ruled that the majority in the Senate has become the minority, I would have been the first to move to respect the courts. But because there is no such a matter, let us clear the confusion. Mr. Speaker, I second the motion that the composition be as stated. Thank you very much. Pardon?